Welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to be talking about CSS tutorial. We're going to be going in depth in our CSS tutorial today. So if you're a new member here, make sure you go check my channel, check it out, make sure you subscribe. Let's get to 1k subscribers before the end of the month. So as you can see here, I upload daily videos on programming with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Tons of ideas for you to grab over here, so feel free to check it out. As you can see, we are currently at 189 subscribers and 1.85k views. So let's get these views to 2k, 3k, and let's get these subscribers to 1k, hopefully before the end of the month. Without further ado, let's get into today's topic. So we are back in our VS Code. So in the previous tutorial, we used to style our HTML in our HTML file. So in this video, we're going to be jumping into how to create a CSS file. So we're going to be styling external. Let's get rid of all of this. Create new. Yes. So let's call this CSS crash course. So how do we create a CSS file? So we go into our CSS folder, open, create new file. Let's give this style.css. So that's it basically. So now how do we link our HTML and CSS together? How do we make whatever we style in our CSS appear in our HTML? How is that possible? Well, it's all about linking. So let's link our CSS and our HTML together. So how do we link? Just type in the link and enter. It generates the link for you. So how do we reference this? All we need to do is type CSS slash, what's the name of our style of CSS. So why are we doing CSS dash? So as you can see, we are currently in our HTML file, which is right here. We're in this HTML file, then we're moving into our CSS folder to access our CSS files. So that's why we have the CSS slash, because we're moving into our CSS folder. So we moved into our CSS folder and we selected style.css. So I know you'll be wondering what this font awesome.css and font awesome.css is used for. Don't worry, I'll be dropping a zip folder for you to download these fonts awesome. They are going to be used for getting your icons. So you can use this to get your icons or social media icons, any icon you want to incorporate in your website. So let's jump into today's topic. So first off, let's make a div. Enter. Let's give this a class called container. Then in our container, we want to have a div. Let's call this box. So in this box, we want to have a header. Let's give this h1. Let's say welcome to save this. Now give this a paragraph, generate a random text, Lauren, enter. Let's make this more visible, enter. So we've generated our random text. Let's save this and open with our live server. gotten our header. So now let's jump into our slide. So we've linked our CSS and our HTML together. Now we want to style this HTML. So let's get into it. So we're going to select our body. This is the body, so we want to style this whole body. So let's give this a background color. So let's call this white, or let's change it to black so you can see it's actually changing. Let's give the text color of white. Yes. So what I want to show you about this color is the color property, the different ways you can write your colors. So instead of writing this black, I don't like using normal text. I prefer using the hexadecimal color. So what the hexadecimal number for black, it's actually hash 0000000. You can have the 0 3 times or 2 times. So you also have another means of writing your hexadecimal colors. You have the RGB. So red, green, blue. So let's select black from here. So that's our black. Our black is, let me get rid of this. Our black is 000. The red is going to be 0. Green is going to be 0. Blue will be 0. Save this and check your browser. You still have your black. But is there a way we could change this? Yes. So this stands for red, green, blue. So if we want our background color to be red, we'll just give this let's just make this 250. Save. You can see it's red. Let's get rid of this and make it 250. So that's green. And this is blue. So if you want to generate custom colors, you can check through this place using your VS Code, or you could play with the numbers. You could play around with the numbers and get your colors at the same time. So we're done with this. Let's just get rid of this and select our class container. Copy this so you don't make any mistake. Now remember to get your class, it's a dot, so dot container. Let's give this let's play around with the width. Let's give this a width of let's say 500 pixels. So we're going to make a width of 500 pixels. Now the next thing is let's select the box. Paste. So let's give this a background color of, let's say, ash 010101. Then let's give this color of FFF, which stands for white. So let's save this and check our browser. Why is it okay? We didn't save. Let's save. Check. Yes, as you can see, this isn't looking so good. Let's okay, let me try something. Let's grab the H1 in the box. H1. We've selected the H1 in the box, div. So let's give this text decoration of underline. Yes, so it's underlined. Now in some websites you notice that the text is usually in the middle, and also the text beneath the header is usually placed in the middle. So how do we do that? We use our margin. So let's go into our container. Let's give this a margin of auto. You can see it's automatically centers this. So you can see, let's see if this is going to be responsive. Let's see if it's going to adapt to the size of the screen. As you can see, it's not responsive at all. It's not responsive. There's an easier way for you to check if your site is responsive. Just right click, inspect, and it will pop up very soon. Yes, and you can see it's not responsive at all. It's not looking nice. So let's fix that. Now when you have the width, next time you want to use percentage, let's have 80%. You want to have, if you are saying you are selecting 80% of whatever screen size you have, whatever screen you are using just 80% of the screen. So you can see it automatically changes. So it's adapting to 80% of the screen size of your device. So we're done with that. Let's dive into borders. So let's create a border around this box. Border. Now there are different borders you can select. There's the border top, border left, border right, and border bottom. So let's select the border top. Give this a width of let's say 4 pixels. Let's say 4 pixels red. Save this. Copy, because we want to have the border all around. So border top, let's change it to left, right, bottom. So check your browser. Why didn't this work? Oh, so why didn't it work? Because we didn't tell you the type we wanted. We wanted it to be solid. So save this and check your browser. You should have a border like this. So there are different types of borders. So you have the dashed border. So what this does is it makes a dash around the border. So now that we're done with borders, let's jump into more of CSS. So let's say we don't want to have all of this. Is there a shorter way for us to get our borders? Yes, there is. So let's get rid of this. And since we want the border to be around all the edges, we just need one simple border property. Let's give this 5 pixels solid red. And check your browser, it's still the same. So Now let's jump into paddings and margin. Let's generate more text. So copy this, paste. So this should be enough. Save and check your browser. So by default, we should already have noticed that this is getting a padding and a margin by default. So if you want to clear that out, how do we do that? We simply go back to the top and we use something called a global selector. What's a global selector? How do we use it? Just call this asterisk. This little function here is called a global selector. So we zero out the margin and zero out the padding. So save this and check your browser. You'll notice that this has completely removed every single padding or margin from this page. So we're going to get rid of this. You can just comment this out. How did I do that? Just control slash. So let's select the paragraph tag. So go back here, say box, and key selected the paragraph tag. So let's give this font size of 18 pixels, and let's give this font width of 500. Now let's go to the box. Let's give this a line height of 1.6 em. So this is the standard measurement for line height. So you don't want to use pixels here, we use em. So also this, let's make this big text. Let's give this font width, font size and font width. So let's make this let's say 30 pixels, font width of 700. So this is looking bolder. Let's align this to the center. So we have a comprehensive web page now. So let's jump into more of our CSS. So next thing we want to get into is importing images. So let's create a div, call this box. Give this a class of box2. Now let's just write the let's have a h2 saying this is an image. Save this. Now let's grab an image that we can import using our CSS. So I'm going into my files folder. Let me grab this image. Should I grab? Okay, let me grab this one. Copy. Going into my file again, my images file. I'm gonna paste this here. So how do we import it? So as you can see, it's already in our folder here. So just like we did link our CSS, that's how we're going to link our HTML, our image. So this is in our images folder. Let's grab this div. So we'll call this div here. We'll say background image URL. So since it's in our images folder, // what this means is that we're leaving our CSS folder, then we'll go into our images folder, / then the image name, which is car1.jpg. Save this and check your browser. Why didn't it import? Let's check. Image, okay, / save and check again. Still not there. Okay, we'll fix this now. Okay, I think it's because we didn't give this a width. Let's give this a width of 100% and a height of, let's say 200 pixels. Save and check. So it's not there yet. The image is there, but the height is not there yet. So let's change this to 100 VH. VH stands for viewport height. So this is quite okay now. So we can also style this text which is in the image. So let's say text align. We want it to be in center. Let's give this font size of 30 pixels, font width of 700. Save this. Why isn't it okay? Okay, important. Okay, it's definitely in the center, so we can use our padding to push it down a bit. So let's give this a padding top of, let's say let's give this 40 pixels. Okay, so you can see it's pushing the whole image. So let's fix that real quick. Get rid of this and let's say box 2 H2. Let's select the H2. So we are going to give this a padding top of, let's say 60 pixels now. Yeah, as you can see, it's moving down. Color of white. So what can we do to make this a bit clearer? Let's make this text, let's give it the text decoration of let's say, no, let's remove this text decoration. Let's give it a box shadow or text shadow. So let's give this a text shadow. RGB. Let's give this 0, 0, 0 because we want the shadow to be black. So let's give this 3 pixels, 3 pixels, 3 pixels. Now you see what this 3 pixels stand for. Yeah, actually yes. As you can see, it's having um, a shadow at the back of the text. So let's give this text transform of uppercase. Let's get rid of these two properties. So let's give this font width of 700 and font size of 60 pixels. Yes, so this is way better. Now let's jump into listing, which will be the last thing we'll do for today. Then we'll continue in our next class. So let's go to our HTML file, create a new div. Let's give this a class of list. Let's have h1, sorry, let's have h2 rather, so the list. Then we'll create a ul, which stands for, which is kind of a list, so get the list li, which stands for list also. Get your a, which stands for your anchor tag. It's used for linking. This is your anchor tag. You use your anchor tag to link your web pages. So we don't want this list to get to any other web page, so we're just going to make it hash, so it's not going anywhere. So let's call this list one. Copy this and paste. So save this and check your browser. You have the list over here. So let's jump into our CSS and style this list. First thing we want to do is to grab our list class. So we've gotten the list class. Let's give this a border. Let's give this a border of 1 pixel, solid ccc. Save. Let's also give this a border radius of, let's say, 15 pixels or 10 pixels. And also let's give this a padding. Padding 10 pixels. Save this, check your browser. You can see the padding with the radius. Now I think we should move this down a bit, so let's give this a margin top of, let's say, 20 pixels. Save, check your browser. Yes. Now let's start the list. Now let's grab the h2. So we say list h2. Let's make this text align to the center. Now let's grab the list again and our ul. So we want to give this a padding of 0. List style, we don't want to give our listing any style. Let me show you what this is getting rid of. Before, you would notice we had some dots at the back of this list. So the list style none remove the dot because we don't want any form of list style. So let's get rid of this gross blue color. So now let's select our list li. So let's give this a padding bottom. Let's give this 6 pixels or 5 pixels. Border bottom dotted 1 pixel hash 333, which is an hexadecimal hash color. So save and check your browser. You already have the list. Now let's get rid of this blue. Yes, let's get rid of the blue line. So let's say list again. Dot list. So we're going to grab the anchor tag, which is the A tag. So we want to give this text transform of none and text decoration of none because we don't know any. Yes, so color, let's give this a color of black hash 000. Save. Yes, so now let's give this some hover property. So how do we create hover effect? So we're going to copy this because I don't want to be typing too much. Then you give this a semicolon and you write hover. Now what effect do you want to add to this tag on hover? So we want to change the text color to red. So when we hover on each, you can see it changes the color, but it changes the color so fast. So let's give this a transition to slow down a bit of 0.5 seconds. Ease in, ease out. So as you can see, this is way better, more presentable. So that will be all for this tutorial. So I hope you've learned a lot from this tutorial: how to import images, how to add border, how to add margin, how to add padding, and how to create a list, and how to add hover transition also. So in the next tutorial we will be covering more, and hopefully we should be able to round off HTML and CSS. Then by the end of the next tutorial we should be able to make a simple web page. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Peace out.